going? Today I'm gonna talk about the comping of bossa nova using the left hand doing bass lines and the right hand playing rootless chords. And one interesting thing that if you already know how to do this, if you are not Brazilian, I recommend you strongly to watch this live, because I'm gonna show some mistakes also that differentiate Brazilian musicians from foreigner musicians playing. There are a lot of subtle things that people usually don't realize that we are doing. Another thing, I'm gonna show the different visions between some Brazilian musicians playing this kind of beat. Alright, so I'm gonna use as example the Girl from Ipanema. I'm gonna show a little bit me comping using just this resource. And if you wanna know other resource, I've made a live yesterday talking about the two function left hand in Brazilian music, and I showed how I used it. I showed how I studied, and there are some lives about that you can search in my YouTube. Alright, so let's go playing a little bit of this comping, just using this. So this is a little bit of the beat of bossa nova, and I'm gonna show you the principles, the fundamentals of playing this. The first thing I think it's important, the basic base of bossa nova, it's just marking the beats, nothing more this. If you play a slow bossa, you're gonna realize that the musicians are playing the bass more in legato. It's not like in samba, for example, that you have some accent in the second beat. You can play more legato also, a little bit of pedal. And the bases of this bass is to play the root and the fifth. I always prefer to play the root higher than the fifth, but I don't do this all the time. I give a preference to do this most of the time, but I am always trying to connect the roots and the fifths, like we connect the chords, for example, F and C, G and D, they are very near, but when I go to C, for example, I use the C near the D and I connect, so I change the direction, but the main direction I use, it's the note, the root of the chord going down, alright? This sounds more with samba influence, alright? But this will be the basic I'm gonna do. If I want some if I want to have some slow bossa feel. And other situation you can have, we use a lot of this in inversions, is to use just the root of the chord in octaves. When you are playing some inversion, this is the best solution, or you can repeat it. Okay, no problem in repeating the note. There is some pianists like that prefer not playing this fifth below, because it gives a sensation of samba, more sensation of samba. I don't see any problem in this, because sometimes bossa nova is a kind of samba, so you can show a little bit of the influence. So and sometimes when I'm playing, if the singer or soloist is playing more rhythmically, I give them more samba feel. So I'm playing very slow, but it starts to, he or she starts to solo with more rhythmic. So so this is a solution when the person is playing more rhythmically. And how to do the bass lines to get more rhythmic? The bass is this, the root and the fifth, or the root and the root. Alright, so when I want to give more rhythmic, I will use the bass. I use a ghost note in of the fifth, and I take the fifth below. This is more similar with samba. This is the this note will be the last 16th note of each chord. So the F is on the middle, and I have one C and one C in each end of my hand. But always finish ending, starting the measure with the F. We can do in two different forms. So I'm hearing, now I have the root and fifth on the middle, root and fifth. I always prefer to starting this, because the root is descending to the fifth, alright? But there are pianists that don't like this in bossa nova. They are gonna use just the one, and to do a little bit of swing in the last 16th note of the measure. So just this. It's more imitating, just not the bass of bossa nova, but imitating the guitar of João Gilberto. All right. What's more important about this also, a common mistake that foreigner musicians commit. So you hear pa, po, pa, po, and this note, if you wanna do this swing, it's not, you don't repeat this note, you do this. Pa, po, pa, pom, pa, pa, pom. Know the difference. Pa, pa, pom, pa, 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 pom, pa, pa. This we hear as in that old keyboards as Japanese bossa nova, and the detail is in this place. Pa, pa, pom, pom, pa, pa, pom, pom, pa, or you can use pa, pa, but not these two lower notes. All right, this is an important subtle detail that we recognize as non-Brazilian in our comping. What else more I could talk about the bass? Some different notes of the bass. Let me pick the second part. Another note that we can use instead of the fifth is the third of the chords, if the third connect the one chord to another in neighbor tones. For example, I'm in D7. Besides doing A going to G, because A is the fifth of G7, I can use the third of D to connect and make one neighbor half step. Note how it sounds strong. I'm using the third of C, C7. Besides doing that, and going to F, I'm going in G for F. G is the fifth of C. I use the third. It becomes much more strong, and it gives a little little spicy sound because of the this harmonic movement. So this is such a detail that I take advantage when I'm using this texture. Alright, so this is a very good note, how I say. And also, you can connect chords when you are in dominant situations. In bossa nova there are a lot of connection between dominant chords. You can use the half step movement, for example. So I'm not using the fifth, but I'm connecting chromatically the notes of the chords. So this is gonna sound much more strong and give another sensation for the harmony. Because here we have, for example, F sharp with the F sharp 7, 13th, and a flat 13th, B7, 13th, and B7, 7 flat 9. So note that when we play these chromatic notes, I'm sorry. When we put in more lower, one interesting thing is that people usually commit mistakes. It's the extension of the bass. People often uses a higher bass. And always when you can, use the very low notes of the piano, and the limit of the bass, the first note of the bass, it's this E in the first octave of the piano. So you can take advantage and sometimes do these strong notes. Sometimes I go one note lower also. Samba also, but these notes give much more flavor, much more taste than doing this. Note how strong, right? So take advantage of this last octave in the piano when you can, right? What else more? I don't know if you know about the rootless voicings. I hope if you are a jazz player, this will become very common for you. But if you don't know what is the thought between these chords, I'm gonna talk about the basics of these rootless voicings. The basis of these rootless voicings is playing the third and the seventh. And why these notes? Because they are structural notes of the chord. They are basic notes of these chords. And some people can think that the bases are the root and the fifth, but the third and the seventh give a quality for the chord. We can know, we can recognize if the chord is major or if it's dominant. In most of situations we could just recognize the chord just using the third and the seventh. So I recommend you strongly to work on to read the chords using just the third and the seventh. There are some exercises, and if you want to know more about them, I'm gonna give you. But besides that, we can put another notes to complement the chord. And in case of minor, we often use the fifth and the ninth, right, in these rootless voicings. In minor chords, the same, right? We have the third and the minor seventh, and we put the fifth and the ninth. And in dominant chords we use to put the 9th and the 13th. If you don't know about that, just send me message. Alright, I'm gonna give a specific class about how to use these chords. But when you play one of these voicings, it sounds very complete. You have a rich harmony because you have on the bass root and fifth and a lot of complements on the right hand. So it's a texture where you have the advantage of showing a rich harmony. And I've talked about in another lives and quick tips about the how can I say, about the advantages and disadvantages of each texture. And this texture that we use, the left hand for the bass and the right hand for the chords, we gain this harmonic richness. We can create interesting bass lines, but we lose sometimes in the capability of improvising. We can improvise, but using less notes, we want to maintain this texture. So I used to improvise counter melodies. So you have this. You're gonna have this kinds of simpler melodies, but with a richness on the harmony and on the bass. Alright? If you want to know more details about this, just send me a message and I'm gonna give you exercise. Prepare yourself to play this and understand everything. Alright? What else? Just a little bit about the groove. The basic groove of bossa nova will be as the like I've told in a lot of lives, the groove that the guitarist João Gilberto plays in his acoustic guitar. It's this. This is the basics, the very basic. So if you wanna write it, there are 2 8th notes, alright, 1 rest of 16th and 1 dotted 8th note. Ta ta pa 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 pa. The meter we think is 2/4 in Brazilian music in most of the styles. Ta ta pa 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 pa. And there is some variation that we create some anticipation. We connect two of the cells, but instead of doing 2 times pa, 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 we anticipate the next measure with a 16th note. We connect the notes, so we change the just in the right hand. So we do instead of this. We do this. And when we change the chord, that chord will change on the right hand before of the bass. So let me show. There are some variations for when you have to play a more rhythmic bossa. We start anticipating 1, 2, 1 and 2. I use last pedal in this one. Usually the melodies with the more faster, they are more syncopated. So that's why we start anticipating. Alright, that because it's the rhythm, the groove is with the melodies, together with the melody. So I recommend you to study pa 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 and work on this variation, and you can play alternating them. You can play can change between, and after you have the master, after you master this, you can create more variations because they will be over this thought. Alright, so I recommend very strongly that you play trying before just using this basic feels, because if not, you're gonna start creating some patterns that are out of the style. Right, so you're gonna lose a little bit of swing. So I think that's it. And I hope you have enjoyed and learned If you can't see on the comments, just tell me what did you learn, what did you think wrongly in your play of bossa nova. When you show what is your difficulty or some mistake that you often committed, you're helping me also to help more students all over the world. So show me your doubts, difficulties, that this will be very available to me. And you can send me recordings also. If you want to send, you can send in direct message by the Instagram or even the Facebook, whatever you prefer. Just me send you playing that I can give you some ways to correct and to make it sound more Brazilian. So I hope you enjoyed this live, and thanks for your audience, and see you tomorrow for more quick tips and lives about how to play Brazilian music in an authentic way. Bye bye. Obrigado. Pecado, né, cara? E até eu te dizer uma coisa. Tá? Eu sei que eu não faço isso.